Check. There we go. Okay, now you can hear me. Sorry about that. I forget. These settings get nuts. So, anyway. Oh, hey, Justin's here. So, he's on time. Good. Come on over. Sit down. We're about to start. I'm going to call Dave now. He's got another interview in 30 minutes, so that's why we're doing it now.
Hello.
Hello, David.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Say hi to Justin.
Hey, Justin, you decided to show up today.
Man.
There he goes. He's
No, for real. Like, I don't know. You can't probably see our Twitch right now, but we do have a Twitch stream and YouTube stream going as well at some point. And, like, I'm also wearing the shirt. I'm on your side, man.
Oh, thanks, brother.
Somebody has to be, man. Everybody.
I'm on your side, too. I'm on the side of keeping you healthy, so.
Well,
yeah,
Stu showed his real true colors.
Just stop. All right, man.
I don't see him wearing a busted open shirt today.
Well, I was. It's a long story. All right, let me do the intro, and we'll get you going so I can get you out so you can do the other interview, okay?
Thanks, man.
Hola a todos, este es Thunder Rosa y estás escuchando Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. This is Thunder Rosa and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. And joining us on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline, because we're going to see him. We're going to see him here in Austin. No, it's not Drew McIntyre. He's almost as good looking, though. I'll give him that. A dear friend of ours, the leader of the Busted Open Nation. Of course, you hear him every weekday morning on SiriusXM. Busted Open. He is the host. He's the one and only Dave LaGreca. Follow him on Twitter at Dave LaGreca1. David LaGreca1. I should say that more clearly. Dave, how are you, sir?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This could be the last time we ever speak.
Now, hold it. Let's hope this is not the last time. And I'm going to try to talk, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. I want to at least cover a little bit of wrestling news with you before we get to what's happening this Saturday in Buda. It is Buda, not Buddha. Let's start with this. The news came out through The Athletic. A friend of ours, Sean Shapiro, who used to work here in Austin for the Austin American Statesman, he broke the story. Turner Media signing a 7-year deal to air the NHL starting next season. It is reportedly worth $1.5 billion, so it works out to about $225 million a year. In the article, it mentioned that games would be aired on TNT. Well, AEW is on TNT. Now, Dave, you've been a part of sports media for a long time. You worked with the NFL channel on SiriusXM. Of course, your brother Don is part of ESPN New York and does the show up there. So you understand how this all goes about. So in your sense, and from what you have heard, what does this mean for AEW on TNT, coming, say, this fall?
Well, I'm kind of getting mixed signals from different avenues because obviously, Turner Broadcasting making that big plunge and NHL being off of NBC. And I've heard that some games might be on TBS, some games might be on TNT. As we know, TNT has the NBA, and they said that they don't want to go up against Thursday night football. So that doesn't leave a lot of possibilities. I'm just hoping that if it is a Wednesday, that it might go to TBS, but I really don't know for a fact. And as you guys know, this is big money here. I mean, they did sign a contract with AEW, but you're talking 7 years, this type of money, that's going to take priority over anything else. So AEW has dominated Wednesdays, and I think we all would think it's kind of funny that, if NXT moved to Tuesdays because they were solidly getting beaten by AEW every week, and then AEW may be forced to move to Tuesdays. Who knows? It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens.
Dave, I have to ask this: is there any chirping about this possibly being a lack of performance of AEW? I know you just said the numbers are good, but is there some sort of like intel source that might be saying like, it's performing, but still not performing as well as high as their expectations might be?
Well, it's actually exceeding expectations. TNT made it clear when they first signed AEW, they were hoping to get between 600 and 700,000 each week. Since NXT has moved, they had 1.2, and then they had 1.1. Those are really good numbers for AEW. So I actually think they're exceeding expectations, and there have been weeks that AEW has actually beaten NBA on ESPN. And as we know in the world of wrestling, with the exception of maybe 9 or 10 weeks throughout that year and a half, they beat NXT. So I actually think that TNT has been actually happy with the ratings. Obviously, happy enough that they extended they extended them. So I think they're very happy with the ratings from AEW. Now, listen, NHL is a whole other ball of wax because NHL doesn't really perform very well in the ratings either. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, and especially from what I've heard, AEW actually beats the NHL in the key demos, 18-49, 18-34. NHL currently on NBC Sports Network. NBC pulling out of the bidding for the NHL. It was, and I think part of the season is going to be aired on ESPN as well. But obviously that doesn't affect anything. So I got to imagine the fact that if AEW is beating the NHL in those key demographics, that's got to say something about how they're going to position it. And hopefully that means, yes, they do Wednesday nights on TBS, because we know Wednesday night, at least with NBC, Wednesday night's been the hockey night for NBC Sports Network. So maybe they do Wednesday night hockey on TBS instead of TNT.
Well, I mean, maybe I hope so, but you guys know, understanding the popularity of one show over the other. When you're spending that type of money, I don't think it's really going to matter. They're going to have to find a place, and they're going to want those ratings to be high. So if it means Wednesday nights, then it's going to mean Wednesday nights. I mean, I would think right now with all the money that's involved, NHL is a higher priority than AEW right now. And if AEW has to move, then AEW has to move. Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions because we really don't know what the format is going to be, because Dave Meltzer was saying that he believed it was going to be TBS and not TNT, but we'll see. But it's so funny that, everybody thought that NXT moved to Tuesdays because NBC was going to re-sign the NHL. And obviously we know now that's not going to happen.
Right. And the word was, because they're shutting down NBC Sports Network come August, September, that the NHL would move to the USA Network, because it sounds like NBC is going to move a lot of their sports properties to USA. So it kind of makes sense. Yeah, move NXT to Tuesdays, leave Wednesdays for hockey, and there you go. And it's kind of ironic because AEW finally gets Wednesday nights all to themselves, and now this comes about.
Well, let's just say they have to move. Let's just say that Wednesday night's not an option anymore. Where do you move it? Do you move it to Fridays where they're going to be up against SmackDown? Do you move it to Tuesdays against NXT? Or do you make that bold move? And I don't think they can do certain nights because of NBA.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken, is a big night for NBA on TNT, correct?
You are correct.
Yeah, it is.
So do they make the bold move and move it to Mondays?
Oh, man. You know what? If I had to pick between Monday and Friday, if I had to pick, if AEW has to go up against a WWE property, I think right now, the lesser of two evils is going up on Raw. You look at how, and I hate to say it, but you look at how repetitive and paint by numbers Raw has been over the last several weeks. Not to mention their ratings aren't near as good as SmackDown's. Maybe if you have to, yeah, I would say go Monday nights. If whether it means you start at 8 or it's only going to be 2 hours, so you could do 7 to 9 still, or 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 to 9 p.m. Central, and leave that third hour for Raw, or you go 8 to 10. That'd be 9 to 11, 8 to 10, because that seems to be the weaker. You look at the hour by hour ratings. The second and third hours of Raw are almost always the weaker hours.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's right now it's too soon to tell. The the current NHL season is still going on. The next season won't start until October, November. So, I guess it's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. You hope for the best and brace for the worst. I guess the best way to put it, right?
Well, I agree with you. I would put it on Monday nights. I mean, Friday night's always like a bad night for TV, but SmackDown does much better ratings than Raw. And SmackDown has been good and Raw's been awful.
Yeah.
So what better way to answer that than having an alternative on Monday nights? I think a lot of people are sick of Raw. I mean, I did a rant on the show today about Monday Night Raw. It's a difficult watch. It's very, very hard. And especially 3 hours, I would make that move and go head-to-head with Monday Night Raw.
But can I ask, and I really love your opinion on a couple of these things. I'll make it quick. But one, is it because of a lack of talent? Because obviously they have a ton of new talent always coming in. They're always making changes. But two, is it because the concentration of what is the A show has finally moved to Friday night? Is SmackDown now officially show A and Raw now officially show B?
I think it is. I think SmackDown, because it's on Fox, I think that's show A, and right now Raw's show B. And it has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with creative. I mean, you have Rhea Ripley move from NXT to Monday Night Raw, and in her debut episode, she challenges for the title, gets a title shot at WrestleMania, and wins the title. Where's the story? Where's the chase? Where's the build? There isn't anything right now. And I think that show it's unbalanced. It's a mess. They haven't done a good job creating superstars on that show. I just think that it's a very, very vulnerable time for Monday Night Raw right now.
I would agree with you. Is it simply because, and you hear all about how Vince, there's always the reports about how Vince tears everything up and rewrites the show, hours before the show airs or whatever, which, is reminiscent of the last days of WCW when they would do that. Is it because Vince doesn't have as heavy of a hand on SmackDown as he does on Raw?
I mean, that's the perception. I really don't know. But I mean, to me, SmackDown is the complete opposite of Raw. The main event storyline has been fantastic. The way they've built Roman, the way that they have set challengers for Roman, even the undercard, the mid card, quote unquote. Everybody has a story on that show. Everybody has meaning. Everybody's presented on a superstar level. That's just not happening on Raw. And we're also getting a lot of repeat matches on Raw. It seems like week in and week out, in some formation, we're getting Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, or Lana and Naomi, like every single week, every show. Like it's really just been a chore for me watching it. I really don't think, and I love NXT and I love SmackDown. I don't think if I didn't have Busted Open, I probably would DVR Monday Night Raw, and maybe I'd get to it, maybe I wouldn't. Or maybe I'd watch it on fast forward in 45 minutes as opposed to sitting there for 3 hours.
You took the words.
It really is a chore to watch that show week in and week out.
You took the next question I was going to ask you right out of my mouth. I was going to be like, if you didn't get paid to watch wrestling, would you even watch Monday Night Raw right now? I can understand saying no, because even there are days where I'm like, Stu, so he'll ask me, did you watch? I'm like, no. I read about some stuff, but I didn't watch it.
It is.
It's awful. And I always say it to my wife. I said, I don't get paid to do the show. I get paid to watch Raw. Like, that's where it's like, all right,
work.
Man, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I got to go over there and watch this show. Excuse my language.
It's all, that's right. It's that's the work. Everything else is fun.
Yeah.
Man, it is a chore. It's just, as you said, just seems like they are repeating. They've been running the same matches 3 weeks in a row. they just don't know. I don't know where they. Nobody knows where they go, and at least of all the creative in WWE. So I don't know. It's going to be a chore. All right, let's.
Hopefully, when they want to turn it on, they can turn it on. You're just hoping it's going to be soon.
Okay, but what's going to motivate Vince to turn it on? Because it's almost like if you didn't know better, it's almost like, look, I got the money, we got the time slot. We don't care.
You're saying he has a like Albert Hainsworth style free agent contract?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jones, and we'll see what the Cowboys do in this year's draft.
Now I'm
but
really sweating it.
Are they going to go after a defensive player or are they going to draft a tight end? They need defense, but box office says, let's get an offensive weapon. Like, are you thinking about the long success of the team? Are you thinking about building a championship Super Bowl team? Or are you just thinking about right now in the moment selling tickets?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big reason why for decades now the Cowboys haven't been a contending team.
Oh, yeah.
And I think right now Monday Night Raw is not nearly what this show was 15, 20 years ago.
You're absolutely right. So, all right, let's switch gears from one unit of women's wrestling to another. So, Dave LaGreca, our dear friend, you are heading to the ATX, and specifically Buda in Hayes
Buda,
County.
Texas. I'll be in Buda, Texas on Saturday.
You remember when WrestleMania was in your neck of the woods a couple years ago, and you kept decrying that, how dare they say WrestleMania is in New York because it was actually in New Jersey. Okay, think of that when next time you say the town where you're going to be.
Okay, you know what, guys? For you, Buda, Texas.
Because if you say Buda there, Thunder Rosa is going to be the least of your worries because you're going to have half of Hayes County coming after you. So, but you are coming to Mission Pro Wrestling, locked and loaded.
Are you guys coming?
I'll be there.
Oh, Stu, nice.
Fact,
I'm so happy.
In fact, I think Mark and I talked Mark into let me in on some plans before Saturday night. So, and I'll get with you on that one. But Mission Pro Wrestling, locked and loaded, Saturday night at Pinball's Kingdom. They're right off 535 in Buda. Bell time 7:30 p.m. All right, Dave. Mark was on the show. Mark Henry, world's strongest man, our dear friend, our neighbor, resident, world's strongest Longhorn fan, as I say.
Yes,
and
hook 'em horns.
And we commiserated because somehow, and I love you. I love you. We've been friends for years. But you seem to have this penchant lately of pissing people off. You pissed off Cody Rhodes, which
but I was completely right with the Cody situation. He banned me because I didn't like Star Wars.
Well, see, I got to side with Cody on that one.
No, I'm with Dave. I don't like Star Wars either.
No, but Justin, it's not even about whether you like Star Wars or not. Like, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. Right. If somebody is a New York Giants fan, listen, I don't share that opinion, but I'm not going to ban that person from the show because they like the Giants.
Exactly.
That's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
We're friends with Wags, and he's a huge Giants fan.
Well, yeah, but Wags is weird. All right, so and then you pissed off Sami Callihan, which, look, quite honestly, the fact that we haven't pissed him off and we've stayed on his good side is a minor miracle. So that one,
I've done nothing to Sami Callihan. As a matter of fact, Sami Callihan him and I did a show on the Jericho Cruise. It went extremely well. I don't know why there's so much hate for me when it comes to Sami. That completely came out of left field.
I think that's just Sami. Like I said, that one I don't blame on you because Sami's he's wired that way. Like I said, I've stayed on his good side by luck.
Okay, so that one's a wash.
That one's a wash. But now you've pissed off Thunder Rosa. Now, Dave, I don't know how much experience you have with Texas women, and especially Texas women like Thunder Rosa. That's kind of like poking the stick into the beehive.
All right. Well, let me explain. First of all, Stu, and you know this to be a fact.
Okay.
Like, I can't wait for this weekend because you know how much I love Texas. When I was a kid, my dream was to move to Texas. Why? Because I was a huge Cowboy fan and a huge world-class championship wrestling fan. Like, so it was my dream to be a Texan, even though I'm a Jersey guy.
Right.
Like, so, and you know how much I respect and love, Texas wrestling. So for me to step into a ring in Buda, Texas on Saturday night is like a dream come true. Like I can't wait for that. Okay.
Right.
Now, and Justin needs to know this because Justin's more, I got to be honest with, I think Justin's a little bit more level-headed when it comes to this because I think, Stu, your own personal feelings about Thunder Rosa is clouding your judgment.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to present this to Justin.
I got you.
Thunder Rosa was on the show.
Okay.
Okay. And Thunder Rosa, I bought her a Dave LaGreca girl t-shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com. And I sent it to her. And she called me up and she's like, thank you. I had her come on the show. And at the end of the interview, I go, did you get my shirt? And she goes, Dave, I'm either going to wear it on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. And if I don't wear it on Dynamite, I'm going to wear it on the NWA pay-per-view, NWA Back for the Attack. Well, I watched Dynamite, no Dave LaGreca shirt. I watched NWA Power, Back for the Attack, no Dave LaGreca shirt. Okay?
Wow.
So basically she lied. She lied.
I mean, and this was like the right size shirt and everything, right?
Everything. Okay, and I'll get to that, Justin, in a second. That's going to come into play in a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So you both would agree she lied. Yes or no?
I mean, if somebody says they're going to wear a shirt and they don't wear a shirt and you've seen both shows, and I mean, they're unedited because you saw them live,
Yep.
I have to kind of lean towards what Dave was saying, Stu.
Yeah, she lied. Okay, so then, and Stu knows this, after the Royal Rumble, I do this every year. I do my WrestleMania t-shirt challenge. And right after the
Yes.
Rumble, every day up to WrestleMania, I wear a different pro wrestling t-shirt. Now, I wore 3 different Thunder Rosa shirts during that t-shirt challenge.
I could vouch for this because I follow you on Instagram.
As
Thank
we
you.
all do.
Thank
As we
you.
all do.
I have to do a better job on Instagram. I'm terrible on Instagram, but I
So am I.
digress. But one of those days I wore a Britt Baker t-shirt, and she went crazy on social media, burying me on social media, name calling, everything, threatening me on social media because I wore a Britt Baker t-shirt one day during that 70 days of different t-shirts. One of those 70 days, I wore a Britt Baker t-shirt. So then she calls into the show, threatens me, and challenges me.
So what you're saying is that you live in Thunder Rosa's head rent-free.
Oh my, Justin, do me a favor. Go to her Twitter account.
Hold it. I'll do here. Let me go.
All right.
I'm going
Almost
right now.
every other tweet is about me. Almost every other tweet is about me. Dave LaGreca this, Dave LaGreca that. You got it. I'm living in her head. And she threatened me. So what am I supposed to do?
And I mean, I know you're from Jersey. I mean, I've seen all the movies. I assume that it's pretty realistic that, you guys don't take any guff. I've seen My Cousin Vinny.
So and listen, during this whole pandemic, I don't know what it's like with you guys here on the East Coast. Like, it's like, you're basically showering with sanitizer before you leave the house.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I'm fully vaccinated. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you, I just got vaccinated. I got my second vaccine shot. I'm like sick as a dog. I got like 103 fever as I talk to you because of the effects of the second vaccination.
Okay.
But I'll be fine. I'll be fine for Friday when I fly out. This
Good.
is like a normal thing. But I'm taking this chance. I'm like, I haven't been out of the house in 13 months. I haven't left the house.
And
when the groceries need to be bought, I send the kids out to get the groceries. I stay in the house. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm still leaving my house. Not only leaving my house, I'm going on an airplane, and I'm flying to Texas. I mean, if that doesn't show dedication, I don't know what does. So
I'm thrilled that you're coming our way.
yeah, Stu, whatever. Now you're trying to play both sides. I know
No.
where your loyalty lies.
No.
And Justin, I'm talking to Justin here, Stu. And then here's the other thing, Justin. She's threatening me with violence. I don't even want to get violent. All I want to do is step into that ring and get an apology. I want her to apologize to me. That's all I want.
Man.
When she apologizes to me, everything's going to be fine. But I deserve an apology for the lies, for the threats. She will apologize to me. And if she doesn't and things go south and she decides to go violent, I have a plan. I have a plan. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tell you details. I'm not going to get into it. If she decides to get violent, I have a backup plan.
Oh, well, no doubt. You studied some of the greatest minds in the business, and you've talked to some of the greatest minds to ever come from this business. No doubt that you're going to have the plans of plans because you already know that this is probably going to get physical.
Dave, look, you know I love you. I
I
will
love
have
you
your
too,
back.
Stu.
I will have your back. But Justin,
Well,
Justin.
wait a second, Stu. What's with the butt? Do you
But
hear
he's got
him, Justin?
Listen
I
to
love
me.
you, Dave. But
Listen.
what's with the butt? You
Listen to me.
don't tell somebody you love them and then say but.
Listen, I'm
You
trying to
don't
wrap
do
you up
that,
so you can get to
Stu.
your next interview. Justin will attest to this. It's kind of like you can be right or you can be healthy. You see what I'm saying? You know,
It's too late
when
now.
when you argue with a grizzly bear,
It's
you can
too,
be right
Stu,
or you
it's
can
too
be.
late. I already. My name's
Okay.
on the poster.
I know
I got
it
the
is.
airfare. I got the hotel. It's too late now.
And I'll be there. Look, I'll be there, and I will dress and bind your wounds if needed. We'll I'll be there to witness the altercation. So
Well, yeah. All I'm gonna say is Britt Baker carried her in that match on Dynamite. Carried her.
Let me
Good
just
Lord.
ask you this because I know we got to wrap real quick. You're coming to Texas. What are you going to eat? Granted, I'm hoping that you can eat after this, but what are you looking forward to your first meal when you arrive?
You know what? It's crazy. Like I'm seriously like I'm flying in, doing this event, and I'm flying out first. I got a 6 a.m. flight the next morning.
You are
Like
a
I don't know.
warrior,
I'm not gonna
man.
have time to do anything. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna make time for Stu and you guys.
yeah, well,
That's a priority because Stu's my guy.
and I think Mark has dinner plans.
Yeah, and
us.
he's. I don't know if I'll be able to make that. I'm taking this serious. You think I'm gonna eat a rack of ribs before I step in the ring with Thunder Rosa? What are you nuts? What do you want me to vomit while on my way to the ring?
No, we don't want you to vomit.
No.
But I think we've got something in the works. So
Okay, well, I'm in.
We'll
I'm
connect.
in.
We'll connect when you get here. But in the meantime, make sure you are at Pinball Kingdom in Buda Saturday night for Mission Pro Wrestling Locked and Loaded. Besides Dave and Thunder Rosa, you got Alex Gracia taking on Marty Bell. You got La Rosa Negra defending the Mission Pro Wrestling Championship against Red Velvet from AEW. You got Alejandra Lyon in action. Holodead is taking on Genocide and more. Check it out. Pinball's Kingdom. They're in Buda. They got great food, plus it's an arcade, so you can stay afterwards and play some pinball or something. But check it out, Mission Pro Wrestling this Saturday night. He is Dave LaGreca from Sirius XM
And really
Busted
quick,
Open.
Stu.
Yes.
Awesome talent. Those matches are going to be great. Biggest house in the history of Mission Pro Wrestling. You're
It is.
welcome.
It's a great venue.
Mission
Justin
Pro
and
Wrestling,
I,
you're welcome.
Justin and I called NWA World Title matches there with Jack when Jack Stane was the NWA World Champ. We did shows there, and Justin and I called the matches there. So
I know you guys.
We know that place very well. And yes, you are contributing to the biggest house that Mission Pro Wrestling will have.
Not contributing. Headlining.
Headline.
Well, I don't want to take I don't want to take shine
He's
away from
on the
girls.
poster.
He is on the poster.
And rather largely featured on
That's
the
true.
poster.
That's
Stu,
true.
are you saying Thunder Rosa's not a main eventer?
I'm saying Thunder Rosa's the main eventer.
That's
but
what
so
you
is-
just said.
so-
You just
but
said
so
that
is-
this face-off isn't the
And-
main event. That
I didn't
clearly,
say
Justin,
that.
you just said Thunder Rosa's not a main event.
Sad. Dave,
If
love
you ever need
man.
a fill-in, let me know. I'll be your right hand man.
You
love
got
you,
it,
man.
Justin.
We'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later. Oh, good Lord.
I'm sorry, man. That's still too funny.
It's hilarious. So anyway, check it out. missionprowrestling.net, I believe, is the website, or go to Facebook, search Mission Pro Wrestling. You'll see all the details there, and join us Saturday night there in Buda, just south of the ATX. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Impact Rebellion, including the Best Bout Machine adds another 2 belts to his collection. Coming up next, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, that was funny. That's funny.
Oh, I was gonna say, was Thunder Rosa watching? Is she coming for me now? Say it on
She
YouTube.
might be. She might be. Yeah, yeah. Thunder Rosa. It was Justin. You know, I'm trying to play mediator here, but Justin's the one that's poking the bear too. So feel free to, you know.
I'm not holding any sticks to poke anything.
Yeah, right. How you been? We didn't even get a chance to chat before, so how you been?
Oh, busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you free Saturday night? Can you come too?
I'm supposed to cover like some sort of semi-pro game in San Antonio.
Okay. All right.
Because other than that, I'd be there. But I was
Well,
like,
let me know. Text me. You know, I'm sure Jeremiah and Brian and Thunder Rosa will find a spot for us. You know, it is different from when we were there for Pro Wrestling Texas.
oh, I'm sure.
You know, the no walls. It's very open air.
Oh no, I know. It's just that I had already like agreed like a couple of weeks ago.
No,
to
that's
do this. I'm just waiting to hear
Again,
like
you're
at
you
what
know,
time.
You're trying to make that Craig Way money. I get you.
I was gonna say that, and I do need the money because all the seasons are ending. 'Cause
Right.
other than that, I'd be there because
Yeah.
I would like to see
But yeah,
how this
and
kind of ends.
Yeah, Mark Henry and I talked. I think we're going to try to coerce him into having a little something to eat here in Austin when he gets here. So,
I don't know, man. He seems like
he
pretty-
seems focused. I saw
Yeah.
a video. Saw a video of him doing push-ups. It was a little scary.
I mean, we can start doing push-up challenge videos if you want.
That's okay.
I know you've done a lot back in the day.
I was going to
but-
say, yeah, my Army days are long past me.
but it doesn't hurt to, maybe if you want to become a manager.
If I want to become a manager, I think I'm
You're
going to
gonna
stay
have
behind the
you're
mic.
gonna I mean, is this live? You're gonna retire soon. You're gonna have a lot of time on your hands. You enjoy the
Yes.
business.
This is true.
You like to drive.
Eric Burns says he'll be there too. Hello, Eric Burns. He's
Hi,
doing us
Eric.
on the check. Yes, but I've got other plans. So
But you're
We'll
gonna
see.
just like move
I'm gonna
off
say-
into the boonies.
I
and,
might. I
and
tell you what.
Arkansas?
You know, I was there this past weekend, and boy, man, it'd been a few months. It was so peaceful. It was so nice.
Yeah, but there's also
Very mild.
man. But I mean, like mild to like where it's plain.
Well, like as in, it wasn't cold, wasn't hot. It was chilly at night.
I know,
but it wasn't
but
bad.
I mean, like
But I was,
when you go to Pluckers or wherever you prefer to get your wings at. I mean, do you get mild wings or hot wings?
I go. I try to bounce around. I do medium.
And there's
I'll
the
do
wing
Dr.
shortage, by
Pepper.
the way.
I'll do Dr. Pepper, and I'll do what else? They have what they call gochujang. It's kind of
Okay.
their Korean flavor.
So basically,
it's
you're
got some spicy.
to take a
I don't go crazy spicy.
So-
I don't like real hot spicy stuff.
But to take a page from LaGreca, you still like a little zest in your wings.
Yeah,
So I would just
absolutely.
imagine if I know how peaceful it is out there, but then if you were there for like a few months, then it would be like, oh.
And that's something I have to consider.
Yeah,
you know.
that's my thing. It's like I always said I want to move to the beach. Like
I mean, it would be about 2 hours from Little Rock, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
I've only been
It's a
to
nice
Little
spot.
Rock like once, so I can't
I
really
was born.
comment.
I was born there, so, and my cousins still live there, and my uncle. So, but yeah, it was really nice. Plus, sitting there on Lake Washita and got the line in the water. I fed a lot of fish, a lot of worms. That's for sure. That's for sure. But it was nice. Just kind of, the water was there, and it was a little overcast, but just beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh, that's right. I
beautiful.
forgot that you got to take a vacation.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
looking
too.
forward to one of those
Yeah.
days.
So, all right. So let's talk some Impact Rebellion. That mute it so we don't get in the trouble with the police, with the copyright peoples. And here we go. Sports guys talking wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons.
I saw that she's taking bookings.
Well, she's also taking bookings as one half of the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champions with Jordan Grace.
Yeah,
That happened over the weekend at
I was
Impact
gonna
Rebellion.
I was gonna say, what a good pay-per-view that Impact put on.
It was, I've been saying it for months. If you still have back in your mind the old view of TNA/Impact,
Like the
you
Dixie
need to-
Carter years at the end.
Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan and all that, get that out of your mind. It is not even close to the same company. They have got some great stuff happening in Impact Wrestling. The main event of that card saw Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, as well as the AAA Mega Champion, defeat Rich Swann to win the Impact Wrestling and TNA World titles.
Yeah, we kind of thought it was going to go that direction last week because we talked about how we foresaw this match ending and business-wise what was going to make the most sense. And this was to kind of get the Impact title in front of a national television audience on TNT, just more eyes to view what's going on here. And seeing the interesting thing is going to be the fallout, which is, a great thing about any title change is like, if you are interested in what's going to happen next after that title change, that means that they did their job. So everybody, kudos to everybody, the guys at Impact and everybody at AEW for one, letting this happen, and two, for the wrestlers for putting on the match. Don't get me wrong, there was a couple of scary moments in that match where I thought somebody was going to land on their head, but it looked all in all that everybody came out unscathed.
It did. I think it was around a 25-minute match, I believe. Back and forth. The match quality was really good. I don't think the fact that most people kind of expected the ending that happened, I don't think that took away too much out of it. Let me ask you this. So, as Wrestling Canon goes, now you got to think of, all right, who takes these titles off of Kenny Omega?
Yeah.
Who in the Impact on the Impact Wrestling roster takes those titles?
I mean, the question is it going to be somebody off of the Impact roster? It seems that it could be almost anybody off of anybody roster, depending on how they want to, I guess, lay down the rules for how you engage in winning these titles. Like, are they all up for grabs every time he's in an event? Is it going to just be the AEW? I imagine that they'll write the storylines out to where it suits the titles.
Yeah, I would, because we haven't seen it yet. Now, again, it could change. But since from what we have seen so far, it looks like we're not going to have you're not going to have Miro show up on Impact Wrestling to take, it's going to be, if Kenny Omega is on Impact Wrestling, he's defending the Impact World title.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming it's going to be.
And it's probably going to be against somebody that's on that roster. Now, again, who that person is, you've got
Eddie Edwards.
You got Eddie Edwards, former Impact World Champion. You got Eric Young after he heals up from his injury. You got Falaba, Hernandez, Jake something. I think Jake something could be interesting. He's got that look.
Yeah, I've called Jake something matches. He's a good worker, but I don't think that
he may not be high enough on the card.
Not yet to beat Omega.
Yeah. James Storm, the Cowboy James Storm, of course.
I don't think he needs to beat Omega. That's just
it.
Like,
but see, that's the thing. It's one of those things. You got to kind of figure out who is it.
The problem is that they're lacking that person that's in the middle. So somebody that's already had some run, that isn't so green, so young, but somebody that's not so old that they've already, like, this win wouldn't help them nor the company to build a new star. So you need to build a new star whenever this belt is transitioned off of Omega.
I've heard a lot of talk about having Moose challenge Kenny Omega.
I would love to see that stuff.
That'd be really interesting. Does Rich Swann try to win it back?
You would think so.
That's got to be somewhere in the scenario.
The thing for me is, I just wanted to put this out here now, just in case.
Yes, I'm paging through the Impact roster just because I don't know every person that's on there.
But the way I foresee Kenny Omega whenever he decides to let the challengers take him on for these belts, I feel that AEW might build an entire pay-per-view around Omega, getting 3 matches in one night where he individually defends each title in the same night.
Well, remember, the Impact and TNA titles are defended together.
Yeah,
You know, they're kinda unified,
but besides the two that are tied to the one company, I mean, but to
you're
have
talking about AAA and AEW and
yeah,
Impact.
like I think that would be an amazing
That would-
pay-per-view that
would be
really
interesting.
nobody else has ever done it.
Now you could do
In
like
one
with
night?
with AAA, you could conceivably have someone like Penta or Ray Phoenix or somebody like that. At least, because I think Penta's a former Mega Champion, if I'm not mistaken. You could have something like that, and then, but that's the thing. Would Impact want to see their title change hands on an AEW event?
They might have already agreed to that.
It may have.
Because, I mean, just for all this to take place, we really don't know what
Right.
was agreed upon or what under the
Yeah.
table, where it's like, hey, yeah, you can have my champion on your show, but there's not going to be any changes on this show.
I don't know how they would work this, but here's an interesting name, Sami Callihan. He's a former world champ.
Yeah, I mean, his run, happened about 3 years ago now, so it's been a little while. Shoot. I don't know, man. That's a tough one again because, I mean, I don't know how much more he can be elevated on Impact because he's already been the top guy so many times.
Let's go with the guy that beat Sami Callihan on Sunday night, Trey Miguel.
Possibly.
All right, that's a possibility.
Yeah, because I know he's on his own now.
Yeah.
So if they want to make him a true single star, I guess, I mean.
Well, he's a single star because, remember, the other two are now
I understand.
MSK and NXT.
I understand, but I'm saying a true,
Yeah,
you're going to solidify him. This is the guy that you plan to build your company around for the next 5-10 years. This is how you do it.
Is Willie Mack world champion?
Oh, definitely. At least, especially in the entertaining.
I'd love to see Willie Mack win a world title.
I just don't know if he's going to get the win against Omega.
Yeah, I want to see him win a world title. I'm not sure against who.
But he definitely is one of those guys that, kind of like Mark Henry in the sense that he's been so good for so long, and now he really deserves his credit in a good, lengthy run.
How about someone that just appeared? W. Morrissey, a.k.a. Kaz XL, formerly known as Big Cass.
It's possible if they really feel that he's past all his demons.
I had a chance to talk to him. He was at SW Fury Saturday night.
Yes,
and real good, just good. First time he and I interacted. Good dude. I hope. Yes, I really hope that he has gotten a hold of his demons and kind of right the ship, so to speak. He seemed like he had, just in the few minutes we talked. Well, he made it was a great showing there. The crowd loved him.
Oh, so. Definitely. I mean, the guy has natural charisma, the size. I know he wasn't the talker of the team, but he could definitely carry his own. And we all remember that the WWE had him pegged for big plans.
Yes.
And there's no shame in the fact that, it doesn't matter how strong you are on the outside. Mentally, this thing, it's a business, tough. And it's a grinder of a business because it needs stars, and it doesn't matter how it develops them. It just needs them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just a number, a commodity. So to see him trying to work through this is very inspiring. And he could be a good choice if they think and he feels that he is ready to be the superstar that they had foreseen before. I can see that working.
A couple other title changes. Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
The new X Division champion, beating Ace Austin and TJP. I think that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that bodes well. This is another guy that's been on the indies for a long time that's really worked his ass off.
Well, and he'd been a a tag team wrestler with Ethan Page for the longest time in the North. Now he's branching off. I want to see what he does with this X Division title because I think he's one of those guys that could be really, really fun to watch.
And we all know what happens to X Division champions. They normally become elevated into the top tier superstars.
Option C.
Yeah.
They get option C. As I mentioned earlier, Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering, new Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions.
Well, we already know how deep the rosters, especially for the women on Impact,
I was going to say, I would pose the question, which women's tag team picture looks better? but it's almost sad. It's almost a shame to even compare them. Impact Wrestling is doing the tag team thing leaps and bounds better than WWE, because there are several worthy, believable contenders, and now you've got two as champion that, you can't get much better than Jordan Grace and Rachel Letterman. We know both of them. We've seen both of them in the ring many times.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see the kind of pairings. I think we saw Rosemary and Havoc kind of reunite, so that's going to be an interesting pairing. Fire and Ice, they're going to come after them again. There's a lot of we could say Kimberly and Susan.
Yeah, I mean they
If
have some
Susan
stuff
can stay
set up.
Susan.
They can easily have some stuff set up
there's
for the future. They left this pay-per-view in a good position where there's some natural storylines to build upon.
right, and they've got some other, they've got more events coming. You've got, let's see.
My question is when do they get fans again?
I suspect them and Ring of Honor will probably do it about the same time, and it just depends on what how things go in Tennessee and Maryland, respectively. Saturday, May 15th, Under Siege will be one of their Impact Plus specials. Then June 12th, Against All Odds. That is, let's see, I think that's going to be okay, they haven't indicated. So that might be a pay-per-view, it might be Impact Plus, or maybe just a special episode of Impact Wrestling. And then Slammiversary comes in July. They did not set a date. A specific date. They just said July. And in the promo for Slammiversary, they flashed several individuals who have been with Impact in the past, and notably who have recently been let go by WWE.
Yeah.
Chelsea Green, Samoa Joe, Mickie James. They also mentioned Kazuchika Okada and Tetsuya Naito from New Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they would never, ever, ever, ever be allowed to have Okada again.
And then on top of that, Keiji Muto, who's
Yeah.
the current GHC heavyweight champion in Noah.
Well, I mean, not only that, it seems that maybe even La Sombra might show up.
I mean, and remember,
Former Andrade.
Right. Slammiversary last year. That's when we got Heath and the Good Brothers, and who else we get? Matt Cardona and Brian Myers.
Yeah, who sadly got hurt that night.
Yeah.
too.
So Slammiversary could be another, night full of surprises for Impact Wrestling come this summer.
I mean, if they get Samoa Joe, I mean, they can automatically put him into the title picture.
Oh, that'd be there's who takes the title.
I don't know if he deserves to take the title from Omega, though.
Oh yeah, it's Samoa Joe. Yes. Remember, there was at one time. I know,
At
weird
one time.
At one time, he held every title. I don't know, bad booking, but hey, I would put it on Samoa Joe. That's for sure.
I mean, even Jericho had to lose to Omega.
I know. Somebody's going. I mean,
Just
Omega
saying.
has to lose to somebody. So, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling this weekend besides Mission Pro Wrestling. Plus, we got new details for the new season of Dark Side of the Ring coming up next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Yeah, Impact Wrestling getting exciting.
So what happens? Like title-wise, you just
Well, it's the same debate that they're having with AEW. Who in AEW takes the title? I mean, everybody
Hangman.
thinks it's Hangman, which
Yeah.
makes sense. So you got to have someone in that Hangman.
But even I don't feel like he's the guy,
level.
though. It really should be somebody like Darby Allin, who's actually over.
For that matter, might as well put it on Orange Cassidy.
Ooh, but you want it to sustain.
Right.
I was gonna
I know.
say, no offense. I was like, it would be funny. Like I'm
Now,
sure he'll win it. Like
I'm
randomly.
gonna go total fanboy, selfish, but and he said he doesn't need it, but it would do my heart good to see Dustin, even if he holds it for a couple days, just to see Dustin get a world title run that he never got in anywhere, and he so richly deserves it.
If the company is,
But it's one of those things where he doesn't need the title.
oh no, he doesn't. It would be an interesting story though, like a couple of years down the line, like right before he retires, if he wants to go through like the Ric Flair run and
Yeah.
not lose and then get to win it, only to have him drop it to create a new star or somebody
Right.
that's like on his level. You know, just depending on how he would want to go out. But
Right.
that would be an interesting story.
It would
And,
be.
and if it's not the world title, obviously the TNT championship, something.
Yeah, one of those two. I think one of those two. So,
But you, like you said, he's never had the world title run. So it would be, but come to think about it, I mean, have either Rhodes brother had the world title run?
not in WWE.
Right.
Now, Cody's had NWA and Ring of Honor.
Okay. But he's never held like the New Japan one, right? He was just like the U.S.
He was
champion?
U.S. champion. He
Right,
wasn't. He
okay.
wasn't IWGP champion, but he was U.S. champion. But yeah, he held the NWA world title because I was there and cried, and he was the Ring of Honor world title because that's the picture.
That's right.
He brought it to Wrestle Circus. Just about the best night of independent wrestling.
That was a really good night.
That was
was-
one of at least one of them.
I
That at
mean,
least that we've been in attendance.
I mean
for.
that card was loaded. Like all those people that were on that card, pretty
Adam Cole
much.
was on that card.
Yeah.
Red Dragon was on that card.
That's right. They were a tag team still. But
It
I
was
mean,
their
like,
it was their last shot as a tag team before they went to NXT.
yeah, because I was like, oh, all these guys have been like multiple champions, have been in WWE somewhere nationally. It's crazy. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you see? I think it was on Dark tonight. Brian Cage and Marty Casillas, aka Marty the Moth,
nah, but that's cool.
Reuniting the Lucha Underground. In fact, Brian Cage put something out on Twitter about, hey, believers, here we go again.
That's funny. Nah, I
Marty
didn't
the
see
Moth. Was he the? No, he's not the last Lucha Underground champion. Who was the last one? Was it Penta? No,
that. No,
it was somebody else.
It wasn't-
Oh, it was Jake Hager, I think. It may be. I'll have to look it up. Somebody can let me know.
and there's talk that they might bring that back.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah, it's funny because I still have those stickers on my,
I know. I got a couple of the stickers.
but but I have them
we
on
got
like
the
my
Awesome
piece.
Warfare thing.
Like I have them on my laptop though, like the one I
Yeah.
take for work and stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes I forget they're on there,
Yeah.
and then I have to explain what it is. And I'm like, oh yeah, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Our picture with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do the third one. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. See, Sammy Callahan does like us.
I know. I was like, that's right. Give us a thumbs up. I mean,
He's
we're on his side.
We always, whenever I would go for WrestleMania weekend, because he has Pro Wrestling Revolver, and they would always do a show WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
And he always made sure I was part on the guest list or whatever. He was always really good. I think we've interviewed him a couple times, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, even after I know we've talked to him even after nights where he's just had like hellacious matches, and I'm just like, oh, that's really nice of you to take the time, even though I really don't feel like you have to right now because I
Right.
mean he really took a beating and delivered one that same night. I mean, jeez,
Yeah,
he's
used
just
to
old
be-
school.
Used to be one of the men behind Wrestle Circus too.
Yeah.
And we always enjoyed hanging out with Sammy Callahan. So we mentioned Mission Pro Wrestling in the first segment. We got to let you know what's happening elsewhere in independent wrestling this weekend, and we will start in Dallas with SW Fury again. This time it's called Cinco de Mayhem. It is this Saturday at the Statler Hotel Ballroom in Dallas, bell time 7 p.m. Teddy Long will be there. The SWE Fury champion Charlie Haas will be there. Rodney Mack, the SWE Fury TV champion. Moonshine Mantell, Christy James, Lacey Von Erich, and more. That's SWE Fury this Saturday in Dallas. Hurricane Pro Wrestling presents Live Pro Wrestling Saturday at Ford Park in Beaumont. Bell time 7 p.m. Mike Bennett from the OGK will be there from Ring of Honor. Ruthless Ryan Davidson, Edge Stone, Heather Ford, and more. That's Hurricane Pro this Saturday in Beaumont. And then Metroplex Wrestling presents Texas Famous Saturday at the MPX Arena in Bedford. Bell time 8 p.m. ACH, Dmitry Alexandrov, Brian Keith, Matthew Palmer, and more. That's Metroplex Wrestling this Saturday in Bedford. And that's a look at independent wrestling around the area. Again, make sure you stay safe, wear your masks, adhere to the protocols, but if you feel so inclined, go see some independent wrestling. Big thanks, speaking of SW Fury, big thanks to them. I was at their event Saturday night, had an absolute ball. It was hopping there at Southern Junction in Irving.
Oh, from what I saw, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Those fans were loving every moment. As I mentioned, saw Kaz XL and Melina. Said hi to Melina. Met Lacey Von Erich. We are efforting to have her on the show soon.
Good deal.
She is the director of social media, director of media, something like that for SWE Fury now.
Very cool.
Had a nice little chat with her and her mother.
Oh,
So it was
nice.
And Lacey had brought one of her dad's jackets. If you don't know, Lacey Von Erich, the daughter of the modern day warrior, Kerry Von Erich, the late great,
Yeah.
brought one of his jackets.
That's awesome.
Our friend Furman Perret, who does the Texas Wrestling Review, he had a picture wearing the jacket. I couldn't do that. I was just like, that's a little too. But yeah, it was really cool. Talked to Charlie Haas. Here's the funny thing. You know, Charlie Haas has been a heel forever and ever, and he's one of these that he will flip off a child. He's getting over as a babyface. The fans are cheering him. Now, part of this is because he dumped Nigel Rabbit as his manager.
Oh, okay.
I think that had a big part to do with it. But he came out, and he's doing the same shtick he always does. Beat whoever was challenging him for the belt, beat him like a government mule. And the fans loved him. It was funny.
Well, I mean, but he's always been a good hand. That's just it.
Oh,
It's
he's
like, and
fantastic.
you even said it last week. It's like, oh, it's just because he only wrestles in the Metroplex area.
Yeah, he
so,
wrestles. Yeah, it's mainly North Texas.
Yeah, so I mean, like a lot of people are unaware that he's really putting in some of the best work of his career right now.
He really is.
But I'm glad that he's getting this run on SWE Fury and that they have those TV deals and that one with Fight. So a lot of people get to see this now.
Yeah. Dark Side of the Ring. Vice TV sent out the press release. Season will kick off Thursday, May 6th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on Vice. So they've got 14 episodes for this season.
It's a lot of episodes.
They're going to split it into two halves. So the first half of the season, the season premiere will be on Brian Pillman. Flying Brian Pillman, everything that happened to him through his WCW run into WWE, ECW, all that good stuff. It'll have interviews. I saw the trailer, including his son, Brian Pillman Jr., now with AEW, one half of the Varsity Blondes. So that will be a part of it. That's going to be a 2-hour premiere on May 6th. The rest of the first half of episodes, 1-hour episodes, Collision in Korea. That's when WCW went with New Japan to North Korea.
Yep.
And I've heard a bunch of stories about that, so that's going to be fun to watch. They're doing an episode on Nick Gage.
Yeah, I've seen that one bit already with I was going to call him Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, where he discusses his ring, and you can see that on YouTube, and that's already pretty intense. I can only imagine the rest of it.
You know, when GCW was here in Austin last year, and I was there to fill in as ring announcer.
Yeah,
that
right.
was
I forgot about that.
That was the most scared I'd ever been near a wrestling ring. Was when he was in the ring.
Oh, easily.
Oh my God, he's a nice guy. Once out of the ring, he at least says hi. But
yeah, I know. But those
that was scary.
Those MF Nick Gage chants are a real thing.
Oh man,
and he eats it up.
Ultimate Warrior, they're gonna have one. They're doing one on Grizzly Smith.
Yeah, that one's probably going to be a little hard to watch.
That's going to be hard to watch. That's, of course, Grizzly Smith was the father of Jake the Snake Roberts, Nicola Roberts, Sam Houston. That's going to be really hard to watch, especially knowing Jake and Sam like we do. So that's going to be
and meeting Grizzly Smith.
Right. And Dynamite Kid. They're going to do an episode on him.
I'm excited.
And then the second half of the season, they're going to look at the WWF steroid trials in the 90s that almost shut down the WWF.
Yeah.
They're going to do a show on FMW.
That
the Japanese promotion that was full of the exploding barbed wire death matches.
I have to admit, like I'm way more interested in like the stories I don't know, and I feel like if you've been a pro wrestling fan for at least the last 20 years, you probably know these stories pretty well in depth at this point. I'm always hoping for some story I haven't heard yet or some take, but the MFW one, I'm like really interested because I know nothing really about it.
They're going to do one on Luna Vachon.
And her.
The plane ride from hell.
And that one because I want to see who do they get to talk about this.
Yeah. XPW, which I know very little about.
That one too.
And then on the life of Chris Kanyon. That'll be a good one.
That one's going to be emotional.
So anyway, the third season, Dark Side of the Ring, kicking off May 6th, Thursday night. Next Thursday. Next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on Vice. We are going to try to get Jason Eisner and Evan Husney. We were supposed to get them tonight, but they've had production issues, so they had to attend to those. But we're going to try to get them in the future to talk about Dark Side of the Ring. And Dark Side of the Ring, probably just about some of the best pro wrestling TV out there. So that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, as well as YouTube. You can find us on Twitch at SGTWATX. You can catch us live streaming on YouTube and Twitch Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central, or you can catch us Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are The Horn, 104.9, 101.9 FM and AM 1260. Catch us anytime on demand by either going to hornfm.com and click on the On-Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. Make sure you rate and review us. Our thanks to Dave LaGreca for joining us, and our thanks to you for giving us a little bit of your time. For Justin, I'm Stu. We will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
All right, there we go. Nice and easy. I won't have to do too much editing for radio.
Oh,
but it was good. It's all good stuff. So.
Except for the part where he says shit.
Yeah, we got yeah, I got to bleep.
As long as you heard that.
Oh yes, I did hear that.
Because
I don't want I don't
kind of lost in there, and I was like, oh, he kind of snuck it in.
Yeah, I keep that here. Dustin sometimes slips, and so it's okay. I we've done this before, so Mission Pro Wrestling on Saturday should be fun. I am. Let's see. I'm going to also cover here. Talk about left field. Major League Fishing.
Oh, nice.
Apparently they are coming to Lake Travis here in Austin. They've got a tournament. It starts on Friday, I think, and goes till like Tuesday.
That makes sense. Yes.
And so I'm going to go out. It's at Mansfield Dam.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go out there Sunday. I think I get to go on a boat. They got a media boat, so
bit of a track, but yeah.
Why not? It'll check it out. I've been trying to get a little bit more into fishing, so it'll be fun. So I got that going. What else? There's something else I had, but yeah. Oh yeah, I'm checking out the Moody Center tomorrow. So myself and Rodney Rodriguez from Revved Up ATX, we're gonna go look at we're doing a hard hat tour of the new basketball arena. At the University of Texas.
That's cool.
So that'll be fun. And then Friday, I'm going to the Verde store at Q2 Stadium.
Nice.
By the way, congratulations, Austin FC.
Yeah, that was a good
First
time.
win in franchise history, beating Colorado. So congrats to Austin FC.
Yeah, came out of that game in bad shape though.
Yeah. Got the NFL draft coming up. The I think most mock drafts have the Cowboys taking Surtain, the cornerback from Alabama.
That would be smart.
It would be, and it would be smart. You know what Dave was saying about tight ends.
No, don't even listen to that. We need
The only kicker, and it's one of those things where you could probably address it in later rounds and still get decent, but they've been doing that and they still haven't gotten it. Now I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to fall to number 10. I interviewed Brian Billick, former Ravens coach, does a lot of work on NFL Network. I interviewed him yesterday, and he seems to think who's the number 4 pick. I think it's Arizona has number 4. Anyway, he thinks he's going to go early in the first round. So Dallas has the number 10 pick. So the Texans don't pick until 3rd round.
Yeah.
Jeez. Talk about a dumpster fire down there. Woo. Yeah, so anyway.
Well, it was fun while it lasted for those fans.
It was. By the way, if you are, and I'll do this, I didn't do it on air, but the Horn will be carrying the draft. We are carrying the Dallas Cowboys radio network coverage. So tune in Thursday night starting at 7, so right after Triple Option with RBKD. Plus, all of our weekday on-air talents, they are going to be spread out Thursday night at Pluckers.
Yeah, Wags told me he was going to be out in Round Rock.
Yes, Wags is going to Round Rock. Let's see if I can find the
Because I want him to come on my
list.
show to talk draft, and he's like, I can't. I got to work for the Horn. I was like, I got you.
Yeah.
Understood.
He is, let's see, here we go. Come on, there we go. All right, so the lineup is Kevin Dunn is going to be at the link. By the way, the Triple Option will be at the link location doing their show from 3 to 7. And then Kevin Dunn will stay at the link. BK Brad Kellner goes to the one at Rio Grande where they tape Longhorn Weekly. Rod Babers is going to South Lamar. Chad Hastings will be at the research location. I may join him there.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Wags. He'll be at the Round Rock location. Trey Elling will be at the Lakeline location. And Aaron Hogan will be at the Oak Hill location. And, of course, you can find all this on the website at hornfm.com. So, but, yeah, head out to Plucker. They always have a fun one. They always do the thing where you can be the commissioner or you can be the GM for whichever team. And if you get the pick right, there's a really good special that happens. Like,
Oh, that's cool.
like 50-cent, wings or, half off beer or something like that. It's really good. It's a great deal. So, yeah, I may go. I haven't been to Pluckers in a while. It's time to get some wings. But anyway, yeah, NFL draft coming up this weekend. So, we are going to sign off. Again, thanks for joining us. And if you get a chance, go out to one of these shows. Mission Pro Wrestling should be hopping. And but have a great week. For Justin, I'm